Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, great, that was good. That's what I think, we're going for it.
Mike Richmond. Rich Patterson.
Here.
John Pitts.
Here.
Dan Adams.
Here.
Craig Palmisano.
Here.
Rich Tolson. Johanna Persky. Here. Herb Pizzagno.
Here.
Steve Giesecke.
Here.
Andrew Campbell. Sam Friedman. Patty Rosenberg.
Okay. This meeting is being held in accordance with New Jersey statute requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act Sunshine Law. Notice of this meeting has been advertised in the press and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. All applicants are hereby advised that if you receive board approval tonight, you must come forward and sign a form outlining the procedures for obtaining building permits and mercantile licenses. At the conclusion of your case tonight, please approach the board administrator, Palma, to sign the provided information sheet. Okay, approval of minutes meeting of November 20th, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of decisions and resolutions, 37-2025, Triumph Development Group, LLC. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Our first case tonight is Scott G. Hummel, 105 South Douglas Avenue, Block 4.02, Lot 3, located in the S30 zoning district, seeking C variance relief for dormer size, pool setback from house, and potentially others in order to replace the existing home with a new single-family home. Current on taxes, water, and sewer payments, proof of advertising and notification provided, represented by Christopher Balanson.
And I'll get Roger sworn in. Carmen, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth?
I do.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I'll start us off. Thank you, Chairman, board members. The report is based on the applicant of Scott G. Hummel, 103 South Douglas Avenue, Block 4.02, Lot 3, located in the S30 zoning district, in the flood zone elevation 10. This is a substantial benefit variance, although C1 and C2 criteria have to be provided testimony for. And the applicant is seeking relief from the ordinances of the city of Margate in order to construct a new 2.5-story single-family dwelling above parking with at least 2 nonconformities requiring a relief. The location is at the beach block at Douglas Avenue, and the style of the home is a Spanish-style design and large dormers and high eaves. The half-story area-wise meets the intent of the ordinance. So the zoning chart is on page 2. I want to point out a couple items. Is minimum lot area is 3,000 square feet. They satisfy that with 3,125 square feet. Minimum lot width is 40 feet. They satisfy that with 50 feet. All the other setbacks, front, side, rear, deck heights, they all comply. Building coverage is way under what it can be. Landscape coverage meets the requirements. However, we get to this 3rd floor, and therein lies the swimming pool in the back. So I'll go over the variances real quick. Swimming pool for clearance, our ordinance requires a 3-foot clear zone around a swimming pool going vertically up, and it can't touch anything. And the swimming pool is partially under the building, so therefore it's a 0-foot clearance based on that plane of the building above it. However, I do believe that 3-foot clearance around the pool itself. The half-story must be fully contained below the roof of the 2nd floor and above the roof is existing and proposed. Again, it's by definition of our half-story, it doesn't meet the intent of that definition. And of course, if you don't meet the half-story, that means the eave height is off too. The maximum height of the third floor eave height is 18 inches above the top height of the second floor. Greater than 18 inches exists, and 18 inches is proposed. Again, with the dormer area, whereas the maximum dormer area is 40% of the area of the half-story. Elevators and stairwells are exempt, and greater than 40% is proposed. So again, I just want to touch on those 4 variances. Again, variance 2, 3, and 4, half-story eve height and dormers. They're typically, if one needs a variance, they all 3 don't comply either. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Balanson.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Balance, and I represent Scott Hummel, who's here for his property at 103 South Douglas Avenue. Lot 4.02, Lot 3, it's in the S30 zoning district. Scott built that house that's there now more than 20 years ago. You may recall we were here a couple years ago for a couple variances for that house when he was considering some modifications to it, which were never acted on because the nonconformities in that existing house just aren't worth trying to work around. It's so dramatic. What he has done instead is going to build a new house, which, believe it or not, will be smaller than what's there now in terms of overall size. The variances were pointed out by Roger. The pool variance is that there's not a 3-foot setback from the building. However, I was around when that control was adopted, and that control was adopted so you didn't have a pool running up against the house. Somebody would fall out of a window in the pool, or somebody would jump out of a window, or somebody fell in the pool and you couldn't get to them because you couldn't get all the way around the pool. I can think of no other reason for that control other than to have clearance all the way around and preventing that for somebody jumping or falling out of a window into the water. But I think I'd rather fall into the water than on the 3-foot lip that's now required. But be that as it may, the pool that Andrew designed, there is 3 foot or more of clearance all the way around it. So there's no safety connotations that arise as a result of the way the pool's designed. It's just a more contemporary design, partially underneath, gives you partial shade, partially underneath and over a deck above. From a fire safety standpoint, I see Dan, I think I'd rather be able to jump out of a window into a pool than be concerned about concrete, 3 foot of concrete below that really serves no purpose other than I think it's probably more dangerous than it is helpful. Andrew can talk to you about the roof. The roof design is simply an attempt to make something that looks different. We get so much crap, and there's nobody else here, so I'm going to get so much crap these days about the houses looking similar. You have a straight-up 3-story house, 2 gables, and a deck. That's because of the way that's what the ordinance gives you to work with. Scott's current house is Mediterranean or Spanish style. We're going to try and keep that theme going. Build a new house with that type of design, and you get that design from the roof elements. And Andrew can give you more explanation about that. I want you to keep in mind, though, as you go through this, in terms of the zoning and what improves. Let me just go through that for you. We have a side yard setback right now at 0 on the right side. That goes to 8. We have a side yard setback on the left side right now at 4.7. That goes to 8. Or that goes to 10.6. You have combined side yards right now of 4.92. 4.92, 5 feet combined side yards. That goes to 18 and change. Your landscaping, now there's none, will conform at 35 and 60. Parking will be 4 spaces where 2.5 are required. So your coverage, the footprint is about 300 square feet smaller than it is right now. Footprint's shrinking and coverage is well below what's permitted. So not only do you improve dramatically on what's there now, you improve significantly over the ordinance as it stands. The house is not blown up, so to speak. Andrew Bechtold is the architect. He designed the house, and he can talk about it.
Okay, Mr. Bechtold, just give us your name and business address, and I'll swear you in.
Yes, Andrew Bechtold, Thomas Bechtold, architect, engineer, and planner, 599 Shore Road, Summers Point.
Okay, and please raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
And you're an architect, just an
Architect
architect
and a planner.
and a planner. And you've been here several times.
Yes, sir.
We'll accept his credentials.
You have a planning license?
Yes, sir, I do.
Andrew?
Yes.
Andrew, if you would take the board through the current conditions of the house, what I'd like you to do is kind of show some of the zoning improvements, not only over the ordinance, but over what's there now.
Correct. So Chris has already mentioned a lot of it. You can see the actual existing survey up on your screens on either side. You can see that the easterly and northerly property lines, it's a zero lot line. We're improving both of those significantly. The easterly lot line, which is at kind of the bottom of the page, that's going to be increased almost 10 foot 7 inches where it's zero currently. And then the rear yard setback, which is the northerly property line along the right side, that's going to actually go up to 12 feet. We're currently at 0. So we're pulling the whole building and increasing light, air, and open space because the building's coming in on both sides and it's also coming in off the back. The front of the building will be respecting the front porch line that is the average for the block. However, our block will be a little bit further back with the actual building line, not the deck line, but the building line than the block average.
A couple feet behind, the building line's a couple feet behind what is required.
Correct. One of the issues that, and if I can direct you to the second sheet of your packet, is a half story. They really wanted to get this Mediterranean style. We believe from a flood perspective that obviously the house should be all raised because you can see that it's quite, your zoning flood elevation is actually all the way up here. The existing building doesn't even comply with the proper flood requirements now. So with the first floor having to be almost 8 feet up in the air or very close to it, we elevated the entire structure, which serves two purposes. Number one, it gets us out of flood, and number two, it provides a ton of extra parking. So we have 2 parking spaces outside, 2 parking spaces within a garage. And down on that lower level, which I know people have some issues with lower levels, you know, the entire lower level is basically a foyer space that runs all the way to the back that has access to an elevator. And then we actually have some lanai space where the pool comes into that. Again, we're holding 3 feet from the building, but from the vertical plane because the pool bisects the outside and the inside, that's the issue. So our pool kind of comes underneath the building, but there's still a 3-foot access around it. So from a safety perspective, I don't see that as an issue at all. Again, on the elevation pages, a Mediterranean style home, especially when you have an all raised house, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to do something that's actually Mediterranean with the rules that, or the definitions that the city currently has in place with the dormers. We absolutely talked to Roger before we started this design. We knew we were going to be in front of the board, but we tried everything we could to kind of mitigate that half story so it didn't appear like, oh geez, these guys are trying to break the rules to have this huge building that's imposing on the front. One of the things that's important to note, and you can see on here on the side, is our half story is actually back from the plane, that's currently all the way out at the street, but at the setback. We're back almost another 10-ish feet from the wall below. So as we ascend, we pull back. We're also doing that, you can see this on the back side of the building. As we ascend, we pull back. We're pulling back about another 2 feet, 2.5 feet from the rear yard. So our rear yard setback to the dormer, or the top floor, is actually 14.5 feet, or 12 feet was required. So we pulled it in mass-wise. So when you're looking at the building, it's not up, it's back. We're trying to keep that light air and open space.
Andrew, one of the reasons for the roof controls, dormer controls, even height controls that we have now is for that specifically, to decrease massing on the street, to decrease massing on the neighbors.
Absolutely.
And I can't think of a better example than this house, where you decrease massing on the neighbors simply by improvement of the setbacks. But at the third level, you have tucked the house well back in the front, back in the rear. The elevator on the opposite side,
Yeah.
that's permitted.
Yes.
But otherwise, the intent of that aspect of the ordinance for massing and imposition is met.
Correct. On the left side, which would be the west side of the building, we have our stair and our elevator tower in this space. So that's arguably conforming to the requirements because we have to get the elevator and stair up there. It's on the opposite side when we have like a small master bath. Again, we're not putting it on the sides, but we've already come in multiple feet on either side of this building anyway. So those pieces are not going to be aesthetically that we're wrapping the roof around the entire third floor to try to reduce mass. So you see a ton of roof here. And then, yes, we have vertical walls that simply come through.
From a,
We
des-
believe
from a
that
design
provides
perspective,
opportunities.
what gives you that Spanish and Mediterranean look? What,
Specifically what you're seeing here, this is, pretty much what you would see as a Mediterranean style home. You wouldn't have these very high pitched roofs that are all done up in tile. They would be a much more flat roof, which again, we comply with the roof pitches, but they would be a lesser pitched roof. They wouldn't be these very steep sloping roofs. That's not something you typically see in a Spanish style.
so it's really just a design element. It doesn't give you any more living space on the third floor. The third floor still complies?
No, and again, as Roger noted in his report, our half story is square footage wise right where we're supposed to be. We're not trying to get more out of this. We're just simply trying to get something more aesthetically different. Whether you think it's pleasing or it's not pleasing, that's fine, but I think a lot of people are getting tired of these same boxes that keep sprouting up all over town, and we think this is a much nicer alternative than what we're seeing typically, and that's what we're before you. This is pretty much an aesthetic ask to the board to say, we believe this is nice, we believe this is different, we hope you believe the same, and we're trying to do everything in our power to keep this space brought in so it doesn't feel like it's massive.
And you, from a planner's perspective and an architect's perspective, you think that this design meets the intent of the ordinance with respect to how a three-story house might impose on a neighbor, or impose on the street, or impose on the sidewalk?
From a massing perspective, I believe it does, because again, we're pulling it in from the front. Arguably, you could say, well, you don't really need to pull it in from the back, but we're trying to create this piece coming inward. And we knew that was going to be an issue with the board, but again, by pulling it back and creating that space off the front of it, where we believe will be the most noticed by the public, we think that's the best way to do this. That's why it's back further than the plane of the other two floors below it.
And otherwise, this house meets or exceeds,
Yes.
in a good way, all the zoning controls and what's currently there.
Yes, and that's clearly shown in Roger's report. We're basically asking for this aesthetic variance, and obviously the pool variance. And again, with the pool, we're still creating the space around the pool. You still have 6 feet actually from the edge of the pool to the edge of the rear property line. So we're holding that space. We thought it was more important to have the setbacks around the pool from the property lines from neighbors. So that was imposing to them. So we bisected with the house as opposed to pushing it closer to the neighbor's property.
And there's still
There's still
access to the pool
Yes, sir.
from the back of the house.
Correct. You'll see a couple of windows.
Let's get that clear. So if I come out the back of the house from inside to outside underneath the deck,
Mhm.
how many feet is there until I get to the pool?
There'll be 3 feet from that.
So there'll be access. to
Correct.
get
All the way around.
the pool.
Yes, sir.
No impediment, it'll be completely.
How big is the pool?
It's modest. That's actually the pool is approximately, it is, about 12 foot 8 inches by 10 and a half feet.
Okay.
So it's not a huge pool.
Andrew, let's talk real quick about the Land Use Act and the positive criteria and what has to be addressed. You've already touched upon the light, air, and open space, and I think that's obvious in light of the zoning improvements at grade.
Yes.
And the aesthetic, you talked about the aesthetics as well. Depending upon what you're looking at, this does give a different aesthetic treatment, a different aesthetic look.
We believe it's a desirable visual environment. Yes, it's a change from other buildings that have been popping up. let's say.
Do you think that the 2 variances requested, I say 2 because I'm going to bundle the top floor variances into 1 kind of, can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good? I mean, tell me about the benefit to the neighbors in this design versus what's there now.
Correct. Again, we're pulling the building away, we're reducing the mass as you look at the building because it's stepping back. So from a massing perspective, we believe we're following the intent. The intent of the ordinance is we don't want a huge piece up there, and we don't want a lot of space up there. We're hitting it as far as the space is concerned, what we're allowed to have spatially. And then from a massing perspective, again, the entire building is still wrapped with a roof that wraps around it. It's just not by your definition.
And when you consider a variance, the board gets to look at the variance as a whole. So the improvements altogether on the piece of property, on the lot, are dramatic in terms of that
Absolutely.
aspect.
I mean, we have a 0 setback on 2 sides, for goodness sake. Even our pools are respecting, a 6 foot setback there. And all the accoutrements for the pool equipment, the air conditioners, everything is within all the specs, the landscaping, et cetera. And we're providing more parking than currently what's there. We're getting the building out of flood as opposed to what's there. There's many improvements on this.
So therefore, you think the variance can be granted without substantial impairment to the zone plan and zoning ordinance? it's an improvement, obviously, on the zone plan.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
When you look at the front view, can you put the views up of the front and rear view of the house? On the front view, on the left side,
Yes, sir.
and the rear view also.
Yes, sir.
Those side walls, on the left and right side walls,
Yes, sir.
they're 40-foot tall walls, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
That was our point when we tried to bring the dormers and the third floors into the roof area by not having those massive walls. So from the front of the house, to me, it still looks like a massive house, a 40-foot tall house.
Well, and that's kind of the argument with showing it in two dimensions. These walls.
They're set back.
Further than
They're
that.
set back, but
And they're interrupted by the roof. So to me, they're not read as a continuous wall. It would be different if this wall wasn't here and you saw that roof coming
and
through.
from the rear also, from the house, from the rear, standing, the house behind them, if there's an empty lot or whatever,
Well-
there's 40-foot tall walls there, and it's set back
And that's why it's
also.
interrupted by the roof. And again, these spaces over on here where the stair and the elevator exist, that could be that tall because they're allowed to be that tall for the access.
I know the elevator can be, sure.
Yes.
I know that.
The elevator.
The elevator and the dormer you have drawn there is a typical dormer in the rear. See the rear one,
Yes.
the dormer there? That's typically what we have, maybe larger if you can, but.
But that door is inside the roof.
Yes,
And
inside the
that's-
roof line.
That's the problem.
That's what happens when we raise the eaves up more than 18 inches. How high are the eaves raised? Can you
So
tell
on
me?
all of these, your lowest top plate height is approximately 7 foot.
7
The highest
foot.
Top plate,
From 1.5 feet, you went to 7 feet.
no, so that's 7 foot to the top plate. Then you're gonna be down probably about another 8 to 10 inches to the bottom of the soffit. So you're talking about, again, an increase, yes, absolutely an increase.
A huge increase, really.
An increase, but again, if it was a dormer wall anyway, that dormer would be allowed to be up that high
Right,
regardless.
you
So the dormer eave could be
It's
where.
set back in.
Right, and
Yes.
again, front and back, it is
Okay.
set in. Side to side, it is not set in at all. Front and back, we're in.
Okay, that's all my point. The 45-foot walls, or 40-foot walls, on both sides.
Yes,
So, get into, Mr. Palmisano's point, like, if this house didn't have the high, the higher dormers and we started the roof at that height, of the main roof, okay? So, those, you could, if that main roof was started at that height, you'd still have those, the height of those walls there, correct? You follow what I'm saying?
So-
To me, that main roof breaks up, the reason, like Craig was saying, we didn't want the mass to come up, okay? But I think that when you do that main roof at that level, it does break it up. And I think that if you built, Roger, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you built that house and you did it like we've been normally doing it now with the Dutch look, you'd still probably have those walls from grade to that roof height of the main roof, the same math.
Well, and my other argument is these dormers, and I agree, from a graphic, when you're seeing this, you see that wall, but this is back 24 feet from the front property line. This is back
Yes.
probably 34 feet plus from the property line on pretty much both sides. So again, because we were pulling away from the neighbors, both front, side, rear, and back, we were kind of saying, all right, what makes the most sense and how do we do it as sensitive as possible? That's a pretty small area that's coming out. But if this was a cross gable, and Roger can attest to this, this was a cross gable that we had coming through it, it'd be a vertical wall too.
That's what Mike,
It could be
that's what Mike's
50 feet
saying.
tall.
Right.
Exactly. And not even Dutch.
And not even a break, like when we do those Dutch things, like the rear,
My argument is if I
Right.
did that, that
Right.
changes the
Goes all the way
aesthetics.
to the
So I'm
thing.
basically saying like, hey, the Dutch would come down here and here, let's strip that off and kind of just let it be what it is. And I think when it's done in a sensitive way, I mean, honestly, we were trying to pull fast, and we just kind of did what we could and not even see you guys. That's where we're coming to kiss the ring and basically say, look, we think this is an aesthetically pleasing structure that's different from everything that's out there. What do you guys say? We're not asking to change the ordinance, we're just asking for some forgiveness on it.
I do have a question, and it goes back to, since Mr. Ballantyne brought it up in the beginning on the fire safety aspect. Can you zoom the rear elevation a little bit, make that a little bigger? Oh, can you zoom that a little bit, Palma? Okay, so my question here is, I understand the pool's gonna go underneath that first floor overhang. What's the access to the balcony for us? When I say us, the fire department. How are we going to get to that balcony with the pool accessing under the deck?
Sure. On the plot plan, that pool. Well, no, you can say it. I want to. So, thank you. So the pool ends pretty much right at the edge of the balcony, so the ladder can go right up here.
So it would have to go on the side.
Yeah, on the side. And also keep in mind that you still have another 6 feet on the back side of the pool towards the rear property line, so you could have the ladder at a
Well, it's an unsafe climbing angle. We're not going to climb at an angle of
well, but
that
this is
demeanor
up
from the
higher, too,
back
so
side of
that's-
the property.
I mean, I'm not sure the. exact
Yeah.
angle, but still.
I'm just saying, my point is, we would not have direct access to that little balcony that sits there. It would have to be off to the side of it, correct?
Right, yes, that is correct. And it's
Okay.
a Juliet balcony, so it's not going to hop onto it. It's
No.
the railing there, so.
No, but
Yeah,
it is
not
an
on
access
it.
point.
You
It
can
is
hop
a
over it, but not
bedroom.
on it. You
But
can hop
it
over
is,
it.
it is a bedroom.
It's only
And
20 feet.
that's my point for egress or
Well,
access.
and the reason why this is here is there's a very good view that looks out towards the back side of the building when we pull this away. You'll notice that there aren't any other really bedroom windows here, it's just, these are like laundry room
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
When you add the pool to the, assume you had the 3 feet, how much of the pool sticks out below, for Dan's point, how much of the pool comes beyond the wall? How many feet?
Actually, this is back another 5 feet, so actually, you're 5 feet in, you're almost to the first panel. Yeah, it's gonna be close, but it's there, yeah.
Are they sliding doors?
Yes, sir.
So also, is it the whole front of the house is all deck?
Yeah, 3 decks in the front.
I mean, you know, if
The front of the house.
I understand that, but that bedroom's separate from the front of the house. If something happens and it's blocked, I'm just looking for an egress point out the back.
we can jump in the
Our
pool.
access. Well,
Well,
I thought that was our
well, but
objective
arguably-
originally, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you guys said originally. You didn't want people jumping out of the window.
But if you have
Well, if there-
a 3-foot lip down below, Dan's not gonna give you much of,
As long as there's access. He's telling me there's access because it goes to the middle of that.
Yeah, it goes, so it's 5 feet off the corner, it's approximately 3 feet, so you're gonna be about, almost in the middle of that first pane, of the easterly pane of the door. Yes, sir. And we can make that the operable door too, so it makes it easier to get in. I don't wanna slide it over because of.
That would make sense for the owners and the occupants.
Yeah,
for
have the
sure.
operable, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, looking at it from a safety aspect, that would make
Yes,
sense.
sir. Yes, sir.
what was that, the last thing?
Just, that this is the operable.
Hey, Palmer, can you put the plot plan up?
Right.
Palmer, can you put the plot plan up?
So, it's a little pixelated, but it's 10.7 to this setback, it's 15.1 to the edge of the pool. So you're approximately 5 feet from the edge of the pool to the edge of the house.
Gotcha. So it's 5 feet to the back into the pool from the house?
No. You have 6 feet to the back.
Yeah.
Here's 5 feet. From this side edge over, you have 5 feet there, approximately.
And, excuse me, the pool, is taking up, what is it, how many feet into the building, under the building?
Underneath the building, it's approximately,
6 feet or so?
no, because the pool itself is only 10.5 feet.
No, from the outside columns to the, in other words, it would be storage space if it wasn't,
Yeah, or be an outdoor lanai. A lot of people are doing the outdoor lanai. Where you
Yeah,
that's how
well,
it's been done.
there's no storage space located on this?
On the back side of the garage is a little deeper, so there's room for bikes and that kind of thing and storage in there, absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody else from the board?
Yeah, you talked about benefits of the house, especially replacing the existing home. Can you talk about benefits of the pool? You know, we're obligated to,
We're looking at the project as a whole. You
I
can
understand.
tuck that variance into the project as a whole,
okay,
which law allows you to do.
fair enough.
You know, one benefit I do see with putting the pool underneath is that because now we consider pools, impervious. So when you're you're gonna have living space there anyway, so by putting the pool under the house, you're reducing that impervious space.
You're not taking up as much coverage with pool area.
Right.
With landscape. And John, I mean, you can look at you laugh, but, and you say, what's the benefit? I would say a benefit is having the water below a window rather than concrete. And I don't know why people don't think that that's realistic,
You could argue that all day.
but
How deep's the pool?
I don't see why I don't see what's wrong with that argument. I think that's fair. The pool's like 6 feet deep. I just can't think, I can't think of another reason that control exists, other than to have access all the way around, which we have.
Can you talk a little bit about the pool equipment?
Yes, sir. That pool equipment is 10 foot off of both the rear and the side property lines located over on this section. With the pool and elevated.
That's elevated how high?
It's elevated almost to the first floor, so it's up almost 8 feet. Yeah, it'll be screened.
And the requirement in the rear is 5 and it's going to be 10?
Yes. And it has to be 10 from the side.
Anybody else? Okay. Anyone from the public like to speak?
Nothing else, sir.
I can't turn it off.
That's all I have.
Okay. Roger, you got anything?
You're gonna do the grass governor strip, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No street trees.
Grass governor strip, no street trees.
Not on the beach front.
Chris, we're talking about making that the operable panel, or maybe Dan, you know what did I miss there?
On the balcony.
Okay,
That's the side that slides.
I got you. Hold on.
The side that we would technically
Back-
have access to
Back
is the
to
side
the
that's
left.
gonna open.
Okay. Chris, you want one vote, or do you need to separate the pool for any reason? Okay. All right, so it's a C variance application. There's 4 variances. One's for the pool, the other 3 are, as Roger indicated and the testimony indicated, somewhat related. There's the swimming pool clearance variance. We require 3 feet. They have that around, but there's the overhang, so it's 0 foot technically if you draw a plane above it. The half-story is required to be contained within the roof of the 2nd floor, and it's not, so that's a variance. The eave height variance, the maximum height of the 3rd-story eave is it's allowed to be 18 inches above the top plate of the 2nd floor, and they're greater than that. And then the dormer area, 40% of the area of the half-story is permitted, and they're exceeding that. The conditions, I'll note that the gate where the ladder would go up will be the operable panel. I'll note that they'll put in the grass governor strip. No street trees are required. Any other conditions in Mr. McLaren's report, subject to any outside approvals that may be required, and subject to any representations made by the applicant during the course of the hearing. So that's the motion, and the second we'll need, and then a roll call vote.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Michael Richmond?
Well, obviously, the new house is a huge improvement over what's existing there as far as setbacks, coverage. Like Mr. Ballin said earlier, or maybe Roger, they could go to 39% building coverage, or 35%, 36%. As far as the pool goes, they have the 6-foot setback in the rear, which I think is important, and they have the 3 feet all the way around, which I think is important. Again, you can't, I mean, people do stupid things. We can't keep everybody from doing stupid things. I've never really had a problem with a pool going underneath the house. As far as the roof, like I said before, if it was, I think the main reason we implemented that Roof thing was because we didn't want to see the sheer wall, the massive walls. I think that by the design, by the main roof being at that height, I think that really addresses that. It's on the beach block. It is nice to have something a little different looking. It's going to be a real nice looking house, Spanish style house, cool house. I'm sure Scott is going to make it a beautiful house, and I approve it.
Rich Patterson.
Yeah. I'm a convert on the pools. I feel the 3 foot around the pool is sufficient, from the house. Really looking at it from a safety point of view, as long as you can get anywhere around the pool, I'm okay with it. And I think it is a unique design, and I think the way as the architect explained it, the way it's set back so much on the front and a little bit on the back and sides, it takes away from that massive look of it, along with being less than the maximum coverage. So I vote in favor.
Dan Adams.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Mr. Patterson's statements. I agree. It's a very unique design. I think it's an improvement to the area, and I do like the factor that the dormers will take away from that massive look and won't look like a monstrosity on the block. You answered my questions for the most part concerning the safety aspect, and I agree. The pool, the setbacks around it is fine, and having 6 feet to the rear, and you're not covering the entire lot, I will vote yes as well.
Craig Palmisano.
Yes, I'm in disagreement with a couple board members here on the eave height. I think that's wrong. I think what we tried to do before with the keeping the top of the houses smaller looking from the street. I was down that street today. There's nothing but 2-story homes on that street. And I know it's going to change. It's going to be, but this is a massive home. And standing across the street from it's going to be massive looking. I don't like the extra dormers on the top. And I'm against putting pools underneath the house. I'm not in favor of that, so I vote no.
Johanna Persky.
I appreciate the thought that was put into the design. It's not easy to build above base flood now with some character. So I think when you consider all elements of the design with the consideration of coverage, I approve.
Herb Pisagno.
I'm pleased with the setbacks coming all the way back and everything. I was very concerned about the pool, but now that you explained it with the 3 foot all around, I'll approve.
Steve Giuseppe.
In many regards, I want to agree with Craig with the size of the house and the dormers. It is hard to build a house here. Never been a fan of the pools being underneath the house. And in fact, I think that we should have a more of a footage, more than 3 feet from the pool edge to the property. I disapprove.
John Pitts.
Yeah, I cannot approve the pool under the house. Everything else, I think, is fantastic. I think it's a great design, would look great on the street. Looks like it's going to get approved anyway, so I wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing that house on the beach block. I do not approve.
Motion carries 5 in favor, 3
Thank you very much.
opposed.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Our next case is Alan and Colin Spiegel, 28 Harbor Lane, Block 709.02, Lot 31, in the S50 zone.
That lead off on this. So the applicant is the application of Alan and Karen Spiegel, 28 Harbor Lane, Block 709.02, Lot 31, located in the S30 or S50 Single Family Zoning District. They're in the flood zone elevation 8. Background is as follows. The applicant is seeking relief from the ordinances of the City of Margate in order to construct a second and third floor addition partially in the side yard setback above an existing structure that's already encroaching into that setback. This is a vertical expansion of a non-conforming setback. Minimum combined side yard setbacks still conform. This can be viewed as both a hardship and substantial benefit variance. The hardship is the unusual shape of the lot, which the side yard setback changes as it goes back, as the lot widens up. And there's actually 2 backyards, 3 side yards, and a front yard. A little unusual. So go to Schedule S50. You can see highlighted are the variances. I do want to point out that the minimum lot area is 5,000 square feet. They comply with over 8,000 square feet. Lot frontage is 50 feet. 50 feet is the circular area of that arc. All the front yard setbacks are existing, and they comply. Side yard setbacks, you have an existing non-conforming right side yard setback. And again, they're expanding upon that vertically, so therein lies the variance. And similarly to the last case where this house was constructed and a third floor was added on prior to these ordinances being in effect. So what Mr. Weiss, the architect, is doing is mimicking what was there before. So you have the height variance, or not the height variance, but the half story and the eve height are variances, as well as the side yard setback. I'm not going to go into what the half story, the eve height require, but you can see on the right side, the elevation on the plans, how high that right side will be in regard to the eve height. But again, I mean, that's how the house was originally designed back in the day, and he's just matching what was there before. So again, it's hard to retrofit an older house with a new ordinance that's not intended for this style house. But I'll turn it over to Mr. Bale.
I have a question. Roger, when Mr. Bill was there before, there was an addition there before?
Oh, no, you know what? The whole third floor. I said, I thought the one addition was there before, but it's not. So yeah, you're adding this whole third floor addition. Okay.
Okay.
You're up.
Thank you. Chris Balance, and I represent Alan and Karen Spiegel, who are here with us tonight for 28 Harbor Lane. It's block 709.02, lot 31. It's an existing single-family home. The Spiegels are moving into the house from Morristown permanently, and they're trying to recapture some of the space, office space, exercise space that they have at their home in Morristown, where they're selling. And they really have a nice opportunity to do it with minimal relief, I think, in light of the existing design of the house. You'll see the right side yard setback, because of the shape of the lot, is just that corner.
Yeah.
It's shaped. It's about 10 square feet or 11 square feet. And Pete will tell you better than I can, but trying to put a third floor on an existing 2-story house, it's almost impossible to bring that roof below the existing roof, which is kind of the requirement. You can do it when you start new. It's harder to do it this way. So that's why Roger said you have the hardship element and the flexible C element. But Pete can talk more about the roof design than I can. I can only say with respect to the right side yard setback, it's such a tiny little corner in light of the triangular lot. That, to me, is an easy one. Pete can talk to you about the roof and how that works. Pete? Anybody, when you go and see this house, can you see the backyard? How beautiful the pool and landscaping is? It's phenomenal. It's like, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I'm astonished. I'm looking.
Mr. Weiss, just give us your name and business address, I swear you.
Peter Weiss, 38 East Oakcrest Avenue, Northfield.
Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony you'll give this evening will be the truth.
I do.
We'll accept his credentials and architect, obviously.
Hey,
Yes.
the Spiegels are trying to pick up some of the space that they have at home in order to make this their home. Exercise room, a rec room, an office, and the trick was to try to do that within the existing house, without doing something else.
Yes,
Would you
they
tell
have
the
it.
board what you did and how you came up with that?
Okay.
No, Peter.
Where's your house?
It's in, actually, Mount Laurel.
Okay. So they have a house in Mount Laurel, and they're trying to sell that house, and they want to move down here permanently. And Alan's got very specific ideas about his library and his game room on the upper floor. So they're going to try to sort of recreate that in this house. So that's sort of the driving force here. So the proposal was to expand the second floor to the right.
You started on the right because there was a void there above the garage.
Right. The piece to the right is currently 1 story. I mean, the original house is 2 stories, living on the first floor, 4 bedrooms on the second, and then there was a space on the side, which appears as though it was a garage at one time. So, and that was 1 story. So what we propose to do is basically fill out over top of the piece on the right, make that home office and gym, and then add a 3rd floor on the 3rd floor. So the game room, they have a pool table, air hockey, ping pong, all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to get 1 large space on the 3rd floor. Now, if you try to do a 3rd floor completely conforming to the ordinance, you're basically obligated to do a mansard roof. Mansard? Gambrel roof. Which would then, if you did that, it would push the volume into the middle of the house. All right. So that's a completely different thing. You'd have to tear off the entire roof, move the room over there, but then we got this stairway that runs up here, which is the way to get up there, the principal way to get up there. So if that was there, it's going to cut the space in half. So then we end up with 2 little spaces instead of 1 big space. So that just sort of defeats the purpose of, would defeat the purpose of adding the 3rd floor.
Pete, with the substantial improvement rule, these guys can do this on the existing house that doesn't mean flood. If they had to pick up this space by building a new house, what would the difference be?
Yeah, so I did an overlay, which I'd like to pass around. So that's just an outline of what could be built, looking from the right side, which Roger mentioned earlier. Today, by right, you know, if you had a ground floor and you had 2.5 stories above it, the red line is the profile of what you could have. And we're just, you know, I'd just like to compare that to what we're proposing, which is significantly less.
The difficulty, what's the difficulty with working within that existing roof and complying with the ordinance? Why isn't that achievable?
Well, like I said, to do that, we'd have to tear the entire roof off.
Well, why is that? What's the difference between working with this house or working with new construction? I don't understand why you can't do it here, but you can do it with the house you're starting fresh with.
Well, a lot of it had to do too with the stair coming up. I mean, it would be just, the whole layout would be different. I mean, when you have these 3rd floors, they typically lend themselves to having a bed, you know, 2 bedrooms on either side, and bathroom in the middle, but that's not what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to have, you know, just sort of a big loft space, if you will. So, it wouldn't achieve our goal. You know,
Without ripping the roof off?
No, we just wouldn't achieve the goal, period, because they want 1 big room. You know? And then, you know, ripping the roof off is just an added expense.
And this fits the need, this fits what they're looking for.
Yeah. As you can see on the right side, I mean, this is, it does step back as it goes up. So, I mean, it just sort of, reduces the impact on the street, which I think is the main purpose for having the
And with the way the
Amber
cul-de-sac is shaped, and that element is back here to the corner, so there's really no imposition on this house over here.
Yes. And the house on the right, actually, if you look at it, there's no windows on that side, so I don't see any impact on that house at all.
From an aesthetic standpoint, do you think this design advances the purpose of the land use act, just from design standpoint?
Yes.
And obviously, from a massing standpoint, this house is better renovated than building new.
I think so, yeah.
And with what we just talked about, do you think the variance is going to be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
The house to the right, it has a sloped roof, and it's all solar panels. There's no windows on that side of the house at all, next to this new addition.
Yes.
That's all we have.
Mr. Weiss, just a question. That's a spiral steps from the second to third floor from the gym to the...
Yes.
Okay, I just want to clarify, make sure I know.
Yes.
Does it have to be 4-foot diameter, or?
They're typically 5 foot.
5 foot? There's a minimum, I guess, right?
Well,
I've seen.
I think I made it 5 foot, but by code, it's not really the egress
5 foot.
there, so it doesn't really matter.
So there's 2 sets of stairs going to the third
Yes.
floor, right? You have the spiral stairs and regular.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there stairs going up to the second and third floor from the utility room? That second door in the front?
No.
Okay.
The room in the front is just storage.
I think what he's looking at in that utility room, that's 2 steps that are already existing, correct?
Used to be an old garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is.
Okay. I see much.
So I'm assuming the reason they're doing the spiral is because the other set of stairs you have to go through a bedroom, correct? Yeah. But there'll be a conventional set of egress stairs.
Yeah,
to
and
get
that stair's
down.
already there, we're gonna leave it there.
Right,
It goes up to
okay.
the third floor, it just goes up into the attic now.
Anybody else from the board? Anyone from the public?
Council's permission, I would supplement.
Please.
Yeah, just give us, your name, we know you're the applicant, just for the record.
Alan Spiegel.
Okay, Mr. Spiegel, I just gotta swear you in.
Sure.
Just raise your right hand, you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, thanks.
I brought pictures of my house in Mount Laurel if the board needs it. If you don't need it, I won't do it in terms of what we already have. So I thought I would just let you know.
Alan, I think one of the concerns is that, you can address it, that you're going to put 57 grandkids in there and make this 4-bedroom,
No, and that's one of the reasons I took the pictures, but I like to play ping pong. And of all the tables, and we have a lot of tables at home, but of all the tables I would use would be ping pong. I need a ceiling. You know, plain and simple. I'm not gonna put a big heavy pool table up there. I'd like to, but I'm not gonna do it. I've had a pool table my whole life, but I'm not gonna do it.
And the intention is not for this to be
Yes.
sleeping space.
No, it's not. We need to move the laundry room up because we have to make the existing laundry room a pantry because our kitchen's too small for a year-round kitchen, people. It's great for what we use it now for, but not for year-round. So we have to put the laundry upstairs. We lose part of the new space to laundry, which also makes us have to go through this expense. I'm not thrilled about spending this money to build this. I'm really not. But to make us comfortable and to get the storage we need this. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So, do you have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Public portion's closed.
All right. Again, nothing further.
C variance application, there's 3 variances, that side yard setback on the right side, it's at 5.32 feet, and they're going up 10 feet's the requirement. And then the half story, the requirement has to be fully contained within the roof, second floor. So that's a variance, and then the roof eave height, for the third floor is permitted to be 18 inches above the top plate of the second floor, and they are exceeding that. So those are the three variances. In terms of conditions, I believe it's just the standard ones that we pretty much put in every resolution, subject to outside approvals, anything in Mr. McLaren's report unless otherwise addressed, subject to any representations made during the course of the hearing, just the standard ones.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mike Richmond?
Yeah, again, I think the way, well, I mean, it is the one variance for that little pie-shaped thing, that's just really de minimis. And the way the lot is shaped, it makes total sense to me. And again, it is an older house. It's not like they're starting from scratch. And the way the third floor is designed, the way it sets back, I know on the side there's like, you know, a bit of a open wall there, but if they were building a new house, it would even exceed that height. So I really don't see a problem with it. They're going to move down here full time. They're not, doesn't look like they're adding any bedrooms.
They're not.
Huh?
They're not.
No, they're not. So I'm going to approve it.
Rich Patterson?
I'm also going to approve it. That the setback is minimal. And I understand that the problem with that old house, we're trying to address the new standards with an old house. I think he's done the best he could with what he designed, so I approve.
Dan Adams?
You know, I look at this property, it's unique, the size, the area, being on Harbor Lane the way it is and the way it's situated, and how you have it landscaped and how you have it laid out is just, it's beautiful. I mean, I wish I had a yard that size in where I live in Margate. As far as the aesthetics, I think you kept the look of the house. If you were to tear this down and build a new house on that property, it could be a McMansion, it could be a lot bigger, and it could be a lot taller. And I think Mr. Palmisano said it, the house next door, you look at slope roof with solar panels on it. So it's not a detriment to the neighbor, it's not a detriment to anybody. And I think it looks great, and I approve.
Craig Palmisano?
Yeah, I agree with the other board members. It's going to be a nice addition for you to move down here. And a game room's a great thing, and it's a great lot. And it fits in the neighborhood, and I approve.
Johanna Persky?
I think the improvements that will be made will definitely further contribute to the aesthetics of the property and align with the neighborhood. Just keep consistency, so I'm going to approve.
Ripazagno?
I believe it's a nice improvement to the neighborhood, and you kept it relatively conservative, and it's going to be a nice enhancement to the area. I approve.
Steve Giuseppe?
I want to compliment you, Pete. You did a nice job on this. I think, not to say it's an improvement, but it's in keeping in tune with the neighborhood, and as far as a hardship, I don't see the hardship in it because it doesn't have to be built. As for the substantial benefit, I think for this neighborhood in the city, I think it fits in that because it's you're keeping something that's nice, so I approve.
John Pitts?
Yeah, just one comment. I have no idea what parking is like on that little cul-de-sac. I would like, it's easy. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, parking is always a problem in Margate. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's, you're not expanding the footprint of the property. So I approve. Welcome to Margate. You're gonna love retiring in Margate.
Can I ask one more thing, Roger? There's a really mature maple here in the Governor Strip. Maybe request a waiver for the second tree, it's just gonna look kind of silly.
I'd be fine with that based on the size and shape of that.
Landscaping on that property is
Right.
I'm just asking for a waiver for the second street tree. It's really not gonna do much. It's gonna be overshadowed by this maple that's 40 feet tall. Right.
Is everyone all right with that?
Like a hand vote?
Yeah, just as, anyone can oppose to that? All right, I'll incorporate that.
Thank you very much.
One,
Thank you, everybody.
one
Have a good
street tree, one wave.
Have a nice holiday.
We'll put in one, waive the other, or is the one already there?
Depends on when construction's done, right?
Is the one already there?
Are we done?
I understand. That's a nice clean layout.
Hey, Palmer?
Who do you beat in ping pong all the time?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Carries.
Motion carries with 8 in favor and none opposed.
Okay. Open up to the public.
For what?
No.
Oh, we do? All right, we're gonna open up, we're gonna open up to general public.
All right, hold on.
Craig,
Quiet.
excuse us.
We just have
We
to,
gotta,
we got one more thing to do.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Just for the record, we gotta open it up to the public for general comment. I see an empty room, but.
Right. All right, open it up to the public. for General comments.
They didn't hear you.
Should we get somebody from Walla to come in?
I'm
All right,
going. Seeing none, please.
All right, so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Quiet tonight.